Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, or hi if you're new. It's Libby. Today I'm going to be, don't know how long I can stay like this, but today I'm going to be giving you guys my August TBR and my July wrap up. July I only read a total of 5 books, that's why it's being combined in this video. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and hop right on in, but we're going to come down because I can't stay like that for a long period of time. So I'm going to, there we go, show you guys what I read in the month of July first, in no particular order. So then once I do that, I can stick you guys on top of that stack. I did read a bunch of romance and I read 4 romances and 1 fantasy romance in the month of July. So it was a romance heavy month. But I did finish Love Redesign by Lauren Asher. I really enjoyed this one. I gave it a 4.5 out of 5 stars. I rounded it to 5 on Goodreads, but this is the first book in the Lakefront Billionaire series, and I thoroughly enjoyed this one. We follow Julian and Delia. They were friends growing up, and then something brings Delia back into town, and the old feelings resurface. So thoroughly enjoyed this one. Please look up the trigger warnings for this. I did mention them in my vlog when I read this. So another Lauren Asher book that got 5 stars. So far I've given 3 of her books 5 stars, and I've read 5 of them. So yeah. So Lauren Asher is quickly becoming a favorite author of mine. So I read that. I also read The Score by Elle Kennedy, which is the 3rd book in the Off Canvas series, and I think I gave this one 4 stars. This one follows Allie and Dean, and it just continues the story. You don't necessarily have to read these in order, but to get the general idea, it's easier if you read them in order. So I gave this one a 4 stars. Yes, I gave it a 4 stars. Then I read 2 books from the same series, thinking the 3rd one was coming out in July, but it got pushed back to September. So I'm caught up until the 3rd book comes out, and that is Pucking Around by Emily Rath, and the sequel, Pucking Wild. So in this one we follow our main character Rachel, who one day gets a call and she gets the job that she's been wanting, and she quickly packs up her life and moves to Jacksonville, Florida, to become the doctor for the hips and knee doctor for the Jacksonville Rays. And then she quickly discovers that she recently had a one-night stand with someone, and that person is on the Jacksonville Rays. And stuff goes from there. Keep in mind, this is a very spicy, and it is a MF, MMF, and MMF. And there's also male romance going on in here. There's a lot going on in here, so please look up the trigger warnings. There is a content warning page in the front of each of these books, which I enjoy. I showed that in the vlog that I also, if I'm not mistaken, oh, there is no content warnings, just look up the content warnings, please, before going into this series. This one I gave a 4.5 stars, I do believe. And then Pucking Wild, which is the sequel, I gave a 4 stars. This one we follow Rachel's best friend, Tess, and she falls for another player on the hockey team, keep in mind. Also, look up the trigger warnings for this one. There is some heavy topics going on as well. So, do keep that in mind. This one's also kind of spicy. But you do see our other characters from the first one in this one. So, I'm excited to see where the third book goes whenever that comes out. So, yeah. And then the last book. This is actually the first book I finished in the month of July, which was a 5-star read. I had 2 5-star reads in July, which is crazy. Throne of the Fallen by Kerri Maniscalco. I finally finished this book. I thoroughly enjoyed. And I cannot wait for the second book to come out. I think it's coming out in September. So I'm excited. This one we follow our main character. What's her name again? We follow Envy, Prince of Envy, one of the 7 princes of hell, and we follow Camellia. And there's a game sort of in here, and the romantic tension between Camellia and Envy starts to heat up when they meet, and it goes from there. I thoroughly enjoyed this. Cannot wait for this book 2, which comes out this year, I believe. I think. So, I'm excited for book 2. So that was my wrap up for July. So now we're going to get into my TBR. Can I? Oh, I can. Oh, my tripod's a little crooked, but it's okay. Now we're going to get into my TBR for the month, which is all right here. I'm not going to go over the books I've already read, so I'm not doing that. But I will quickly mention the book that I'm currently reading, which is The Spell Shop by Sarah Beth Durst. I only have the dust jacket because the book is actually sitting on my desk, waiting for me to continue to read it. But I'm loving this so far. This might be a 5-star. So, I'm loving the magical creatures that we're getting involved in this, and how our main character comes back to where she was born to open up a magical shop, and she's learning how to do spells and everything. So, thoroughly enjoying this one. Then we have the first stack over here. We have Love Unwritten, which is the sequel to Love Redesigned. This is book 2 in the Lakefront Billionaire series. This one we follow Ellie and Raphael. Raphael is a single dad, and Ellie is the nanny. And I know they take a vacation in here, and that's all I know. I did start this, but I got to chapter 3, and that's it. And this is dual POVs, so we get Ellie's and Raphael's POVs. And then, from what I gathered, in book 1, Raphael's son is really, really cute. And Delia and Julian are his godparents. So, can't wait to finish this. It's a little ambitious TBR, so I don't know if I'll get to every book on here, but I might. We'll see. Then I have 2 books. I have Shadows Between Us and Darkness Within Us. These are both by Trisha Levenseller. I don't know too much about these. I did get the special editions at Barnes & Noble, so I do have them, and they're ready to read, and I can't wait to read these. So, and I don't have to worry about a bookmark because they have a ribbon bookmark, but I'm excited to read these, hopefully soon, once I get some of these library books out of the way. Then I have The Gilded Cage by Lynette Noni. This is the sequel to the Poison Healer. Yes, the Poison Healer trilogy. And I read The Poison Healer, really enjoyed it, so I can't wait to finish this book. I got to page 22, which was in the middle of a chapter. And chapter 2. And in this, we follow our main character, Yes, Carva. She survived the prison that she's been in, and she survived some stuff that she had to take part in because the rebel queen showed up one day at the prison and stuff goes down. It was really good. So I still haven't continued this. I need to. So I'm going to try and read this one this month. I have 2 Adrienne Young books, which I've heard really good things about, but I don't know anything about them. I have The Spells for Forgetting by Adrienne Young. This is a witchy book. That's all I know, so I cannot wait to get to this one. And then I have The Unmaking of June Farrow by Adrienne Young, which I've also heard really good things about. I do have another book by Adrienne Young on this TBR as well, and it's a reread, so that'll be rather quick. So I'll mention that in a second. And then the other book by Adrienne Young is Namesake, which is a pirate book, and it's a reread for me, so I can't say too much because this is the sequel to Fable by Adrienne Young. And then I do, if I can get to it, I do have Saints by Adrienne Young as well. So a lot of Adrienne Young going on this month, so hopefully I can get to that, all of that. And I have a book club book, which is The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea by Axie O. I have read an Axie O book before, but I can't remember which book I read. I think she wrote, correct me if I'm wrong, I think she wrote XOXO and ASAP. So I'm excited to see where this goes. I know nothing about this, but Elizabeth Lim blurbed it. That's the only author I know of that blurbed it. So I'm excited to get to this month, hopefully, and go from there. It's a library book. I have Solitaire by Alice Oseman. This one we follow Tori Springs. Yes, Tori Springs, who is Charlie's older sister from Heartstopper. So, and this takes place during Heartstopper. I'm not exactly sure when, so I have to go back and find out where this takes place in Heartstopper, but if you know, let me know down below. I greatly appreciate it. And this follows Tori as she goes through life. And this is how she meets Michael, who we get introduced to in Heartstopper. So I have that one. Then I have Zara by S.J. Jones. And I've heard of this one, Sailor Moon equals Avatar The Last Airbender. I put this on my TBR thanks to Tori over at Tori Between Pages. So I cannot wait to get to this. I know nothing about this, but Erica K. Johnson blurbed it, Rachani Shkotchke and Kat Cho has blurbed it, and Marissa Meyer. So this sounds promising. I know going into this one blind. I plan to read this week, so we shall see what ends up happening with this one. Then I have 4 more books. I have A Touch of Darkness by Scarlett St. Clair. I have read one of Scarlett St. Clair books before. This one I'm more interested in, and this is a Hades and Persephone retelling, and that's all I know about it. So that's all I'm going to know going into this. The last 3 books are part of a series. I read the first one, but I don't remember if I read the second or third one. But that is Burning Skies by Sherry Thomas. This deals with the elemental magic. If I remember correctly, it's been a while since I read this. So, but there is a romance involved, but I think mainly in the second and third book, which I have. And I have the second and third books here. So the Perilous Sea and the Immortal Heights. So I'm not going to go too much into those, but I do have them on my TBR as well. So that is my TBR and my wrap up for July and August. Let me know if you guys read any of these and if I should bump any of these up on my TBR. Let me know down below, and like, subscribe, stay a while, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.